This is really number 2, part 2, about names. It's a lot. You can see my book, a lot of pages. What's in a name, speaking about meaning of names. And we stopped in the last sentence, really with the previous part 1, what's in a name, with the word neshama. So we discussed about the build-up of these 4 letters. Neshama Nun represents the highest level, which is the source, 50 gates of brightness, or you can say understanding, purity, which is the root of the Neshama. And then we spoke about the letter Hey, which is a physical. And also, not to speak about the letter Hey besides the shape, as we said, which is a shape which has 2 openings, down, physically, realistically, or spiritually, is an open wide. And when one sins a lot, really defiles his spirit, and he lives really in a total, complete material life. So, the opening on top is closed, so it's like the letter Chet. You have only, like you are drawn to physical down. Definitely, you can do always tshuva, you can always repent, but for this you have to knock very hard to open this opening on top. So you have to do tshuva a little bit more difficult than the usual one. But you can always do tshuva, always you can repent. So this is really basically the shape of the hay. In fact, I really want to tell you so much more about each letter. I can tell you everything, but if you look into the letter hey, how it is written in the Torah, in the script, it is really basically built of 2 letters. Daled, and you can see the Daled, the upper line, which in a line which is going down. And this is really, according to Kabbalistic explanation, the idea of this world, the physical one, which is combined of 4 elements, the wind and the fire and the water and earth. Now 2 of them are flying like air, and definitely fire. So they are represented by the top line. And the line which goes down is the 2 elements which go down, earth and water. So this is the letter Daled, the letter Daled on the right side of the hay. So the letter Daled also means Dal, poor, physical, materialistic is poor, Dal. Also in English, Dal, D-U-R-L-L, to do something. So something diluted, something really light is a Daled, Dal. And in fact, it is interesting that a poor man is called in Hebrew Dal. It really is Dal. Why? Because he's always knocking on the door. Delet, Delet is door. So I have experience with it. But, when you need people to help you, you knock on the door. This is why Delet, the Dales, the Dal, goes to the doors to ask for money, for help. Now, what is a Yud? The letter Yud is a letter which presents a spark of creation. This is really the spiritual spark of creation. Maybe you call it electromagnetic something, the atom. The physical cannot work by itself. You need some energy, some powers to keep it going. This is really the Yud. Yud is also the first letter of God. It presents spiritual things, very highly things. Wisdom, really. Wisdom, as is written, in fact, in the first word in the Torah, Bereshit bara Elokim, God created the world with Reshit. Reshit is wisdom. Reshit Chochmah, Yirat Hashem. The beginning of wisdom is fear of God. And this is really what is represented by the letter Yud, oxygen, element of life, to do with the letter Yud. There's a lot to discuss about it. So, if you take the letter Hey, you have already a combination of the physical, the Dalet on the right side, and the Yud inside. This is really clearly shows you what the word was creating with. Yeah, letter Hey represent it. Also Hey represent 5 in numerical value. Also the 4 elements with the 5th one, which is the atom. Whatever, moves the world. So this is a letter Hey, as we said, representing this, and this is really the last letter in the word Neshama. And what is in between? Shem. In between the letter Yud, representing the sublime, the high, and the letter Hey, represents the physical. What you have in between? The word Shem, name. So name is really the link between the upper world, the Neshama, the highest part of the Neshama, and this physical world. Now this you understand why in the name you can see, and as we said, maybe not everybody, but great people can distinguish and see exactly the roots of a person and what is goal, what is destiny in this physical world. And this is Neshama. This is the build-up of these 4 letters, Nun, Shem, and Hey. Right? This is the name, Shem. Besides the letter Shin, Mem by themselves, representing physically the Shin, the letter Shin, according to the Book of Formation, I spoke about it in the other lectures, represents the fire. The shape of the Shin, like fire going up. And then you have the letter Mem. Mem represents the water, Maim, Mem, the hydrogen. Is which water really? Mainly, I said it in Hebrew, the Hebrew word Maim is 2 Mem, 2 hydrogens, and Yud, which is, as we said, really the element of life. So this is Maim, H2O, the 2 hydrogens on the side, and the oxygen a little bit higher, exactly like the Hebrew word Maim. Yeah. Okay, about the word Maim, I think we discussed in our lecture. There's a lot to discuss about what is the Maim. But this is the Mem. So Shem, a name of a person, is fire and water. What is fire and water? Definitely, Kabbalistically, spiritually, the fire represents more the intellect, the brain, the highest level. Mind represents the emotion. Yeah. So really the name of a person, really what is a person? His intellect, his thought, his mind, as his emotions. So basically really what he is, right? So this is what really the importance of name is. Right? Because in the name you have so much. Because the Neshama, the soul, all, as we said, the connection between the spiritual, the physical. This is why great people, like I told you the story about Rabbi Yaakov Fisher, that he knew exactly how, maybe as it is, since I came to him and I saw it, and he normally used numbers. Yeah, numbers is also the basis of creation. Number, mispar is fear, like so. He took the name of a person, means the man or the woman, and he analyzes it according to, he knew how to do it. And I tell you the story, there are really people who did not follow what he said, and were not so successful. Because you have to listen to real, you have to be careful. There are many people who are saying that they are like Kabbalists, but in fact, they call it Baba, yeah, so Baba. But in fact, this Baba, is really Baba. Some of them, they are great people, they are holy descendants of great people, but you have to be careful. So, this is why name is so important, name. Yeah. By the way, the letter Nun is according Kabbalistically to do with Shin. Both represent spiritual elements connected, understanding. So maybe the English name and Shem, I don't know what to do, but Shem, right? Basically have the same thing. So Nun changing in Shin is like Shem. So a Shem and Shem is a shame that people don't see the real connection about. I wrote a book, Hebrew Source of Language, and Baruch Hashem, Isaac Mosesson really went into it much deeper academically. I did not. I went maybe a little bit, you call it Kabbalistically, trying to show that the real meaning of words which are similar to Hebrew, really only Hebrew, they have real meaning. In the English, it is a copy, a copy, a cop. A monkey also is called monkey because it's copy. In Hebrew, it's copy. So definitely looking into the meaning of words in Hebrew, definitely if you analyze it properly, you can see that it is in English. I can give you many examples, but in another lecture, we speak about name. So the letter Hey, as we said, physical, the non-spiritual, and the Shem in between, which is really the name of a person, right? Emotionally, intellectually, really is linked with the upper words, Nun, and with the lower word. And a man should know that he has to fulfill his goal in life, his destiny in his name. Okay, definitely difficult for each one to know what he's supposed to do. But if he'll go according to the Torah, keeping Torah mitzvot, and the 7 laws of Noach, so he will feel what he's supposed to do. It's written that a man can feel, can sense exactly what is really his goal in life. Okay, about myself, difficult to go, but Matityau, my name Matatis means matana, from giving, to give Yud Kevav, to give spiritual teachings about the world, maybe this is behind my name, this is why I try to give a lot, many books, English, Russian, Hebrew, French, try to give to the world a lot. This is what I have to do. If I had money, I give more, but this is a fact, Matityau giving, but in fact, Rab Tzadok Cohen speaks about this name, connecting with Matityau Hashmonai. Matityau, he says earlier, Matityau, like even Netanyahu, by the way, they say Netanyahu gave a lot. Okay, some people don't like it, but his name very similar to. So, as I said, there's a lot in the names. Matityau, Netanyahu, Yonatan also basically is in the same like Matityau, because also Yonatan giving the Yud Kevav. Yud Kevav is wisdom, understanding. That's one knowledge one should give. Okay, but this is a really superficial, you can say, explanation to names. There are much more value. In fact, there is an interesting story in the Talmud. It was a rabbi who always used to check names. He would not go anywhere without checking the name. Rab Meir, Meir. So it is a story about him, amazing story. The Talmud says that he and his friends once went to a certain place, and on the way, apparently they came late, it was almost Shabbos, so they had to go into a hotel, into inn, and they came, and they said, have you a room? Yes, you have a room, yeah. And look, that today is Shabbos, and you cannot carry this mukse, something, you cannot, all this pain and whatever it is, please, and money, they had money, really. You want to leave it for you, to be sure it will be stolen and so on. He said, yes, why not? Yes. So, but Rameir said, no. He asked the person, the owner, what is your name? He said, Kido. Rameir said, this reminds me a verse in the Bible, this reminds me, Kidor tapuchot ema. Kidor, they are a generation, not straight, they're crooked, cannot rely on them. So he said, no, I will not leave. So he put his money somewhere there, and they left it. Now, Saturday night, on the Shabbos, they came, no, Mr. Kidor, money, which money? No money. But no, give me, pay for this, and please go away. So Omer says, they asked Omer, no, look, I suspect names. When I see a name which is not straight, I will not deal with him. Interesting. Okay, so the Vilna Gaon says that one could find indications that this man was not really honest by the numerical value, by the gematria of his name. the numerical value of his name, Kido, Kaf Yud, 30, Do, then 240, Amalek. Amalek is a crooked nation in Hebrew. Also the same letter Amalek, Amalekite is exactly Hakem, to make things crooked, He said, no, this is a person that I would not rely on him. This way not rely, and he was right. So there's a lot written about Rav Meir, that he was checking names, to do the Suvizum easily. Not everyone can do it, but this is a fact. What the names are telling. So as we saw now, this neshama, this whole spirit, clearly connected with the name, with Shem, as this is why people have to be careful with names, definitely. It is also interesting to point out that according to Halacha, to the Torah, the law is written that if it happens that a man is very, very sick, very, very sick, critically sick, so one should give him another name. Normally they give the name of life, or Raphael, healing, to do with healing. And this is really a special prayer. This isn't exactly what to say, it's a special prayer, that's one says. And in this prayer it says, if the decree of heaven was on this person who was called so, it will not be called on this one. So this is why you add names, Fael. So this is interesting and important thing, and one could see I could see clearly how it works. You see, I was in yeshiva in Israel for Hasidim, and the Rosh Yeshiva, the head, was very, very sick, severely sick. He was in hospital, and they said, the doctor couldn't find exactly what is wrong, but he had temperature all the time, and they said, unfortunately, we don't see any way, medicine, anything to stop it, and Chas v'Shalom, the end is going to come. So at that time I was in Kfar Hasidim in yeshiva, and the head of the yeshiva was Rabeli, for knows Rabeli Rapian, was a great tzaddik, and he said, pupils, we have to open the ark and to change the name of the Rosh Yeshiva, and he added the name Raphael. Raphael. Okay, half an hour later, afterwards, we got a phone call, and the doctors from the hospital said that had an idea which jumped to their mind what is wrong. They exactly did what they really had in their mind, and they found out something wrong. The stomach was going there, and they cut it off, and they made an operation, they saved his life. And he lived for a few years afterwards. So there are many stories, in fact, and people really had name, but not always it helps. Now, what is the idea, by the way, adding name? By adding name, you show that maybe this person finished with his destiny in life in an area that he was working. It was necessary for him to do things in different way, like to give him a new destiny, a new goal in life. It's very interesting that you could see in the head of the yeshiva that really after when he came back from hospital, he had a little bit change in the ideas. Better to say, behavior, it was more, outreach, something like this. But still, this is exactly what happened. And this is really the idea that maybe, not always it works, maybe sometimes there are reasons, so therefore adding name not always helps, but it helps, and could see it clearly that it helps. In fact, a story which I will tell you, that what's in a name, I got money to this book by a lady, in the States, and she gave me money, and she said, because I saw clearly the fact of our name change the life of a person. So she told me her father, when he was young, before he got married, he was very, very sick, I think in Jerusalem, and the doctor gave up hope for him, and then they called the rabbi, Kabbalist, righteous rabbi, and he said, you should give him the named Zion. Yeah, Zion. And they'll be okay. And this is what happened. Baruch Hashem. He lives quite a few years afterwards. So she said to me that she could see so clearly the impact of name and how name is important. So she gave me money to do this book. Yeah, to do this book. She's, I think, from the States in New York, Mervyn, now it's called, forgot. But this is exactly something that one can see. What is the name, you know? So the man should really, by the way, I brought a lot of Midrash, Kabbalistic thing, Homiletic, which says that when a man comes to heaven, he asks God to fulfill question, you know, fulfill the Torah, and so on, he was straight in business, but also he will be asked whether he remember his name. Yeah. So the question was remember his name. Anybody knows his name? But the idea is, the question is, did you fulfill what your name is? Did you do this or you did what suits you? Yes, it's the question. There's a man, every man has a destiny, a goal in life, and you know, if he doesn't fulfill it, you know, up in heaven, we'll deal with him. But this is an interesting question. Did you know your name? Do you know your name? I said, no, I don't know. So if you say I don't know, it's very bad. So important teaching, how important is name, yeah, the name of a person, very, very important, because this is really what he is, yeah, the name. Many, many ideas behind name, as I said in my book, what's in the name. I brought many, many ideas about meaning of it. In fact, the name Israel itself, yeah, Israel itself, unfortunately, if you will go into what Israel means, Sarekel, ministers of God, Shirkel, singing to God, praising God. Yesh, then also the Rosh, like God said, they're like a head for me, they're supposed to be teacher, right to the bird. And also, you know, many other permutations of this name Israel. Rosh, head, really. The Rosh is supposed to be like heads when they're supposed to teach, to show the right word. This is what this is, the purpose of Jews. God on Sinai said, Mamlechet Kohanim, the Kadosh Yahweh people, and Mamlechet Kohanim, priests, and priests mainly, this was their purpose, to teach. Yeah, so this Israel is supposed to be light to the nations, the Bible says. So, if you take many different, like Yashar Kel, straight with God, yeah, all this is the letter of Israel. I don't know if Israel today, exactly what the meaning of the word is, but no, they are called Israel, but if they're fulfilling what Israel is, to be straight with God, and to praise God, and to see God, ministers of God, to feel like this, unfortunately not yet, but there is a way, they repent. And I wrote in my book many ideas behind the letters Israel. You know, each letter really shows exactly what a Jew is. Also Yehudi. If you take letter Yehudi, you have the letters of God there. Because if you remember, I told you that letter Hey is built up of Dalet, which is the material, and the Yud, the spiritual. And this was the A. What is Yehudi? Take the word Yehudi. Yehudi, you add Yud, A, Yud, K, and then you have the Dalet and Yud. So you have the basic in the word Yehudi. You have Yud, K, Vav, K, the name of God in the Jew. Yehudi, Yud, A, Vav, Dalet. Yud, which takes the Dalet and Yud together. You have the Hey. So in the name Jew, you have the godliness, divinity. No? Now they want to convert, you know, automatically, convert, not realizing what it means to be a Jew. Yeah, to be a Jew, to be Yehudi, to see that God will dwell within you. And to get it, you have to keep the Torah. Yeah, today, you know, unfortunately, this within conversion people, all these things are a result of being really confined, limited, unfortunately, not realizing, not seeing what is the depth, you know, like People think you can like incense, you can do things, change a Gentile into a Jew instantly, like become a Coptic instantly, but they don't know how deep it is to be a Jew. It is much more to be Israel. If you go into these letters, Yehudi, I wrote a lot. If you take the letter Yehudi fully, Yud Vav Daled Yud, you can see exactly what a Jew is supposed to be. You have to represent God. I represent God. Represent God, and why not in a revision? Represent God when you behave according to the Torah, like a Jew supposed to behave. So, this is important teaching, and this is what the name is. So, in fact, in my book, What's in the Name, I have good chapters about Israel and about Jerusalem. People don't know what is Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, what is behind. So also, a lot of ideas behind the letters themselves. This is the letters themselves, Yerushalayim and Israel are basically the same, because the combination of the letter Aleph in Israel is two Yud and Vav, which is exactly what in Yerushalayim. No, basically, clear indications that Yerushalayim is part of Israel. Yeah, in the letters, in the build-up of letters, unbelievable. So much behind this. Yerushalayim in numerical value, Makom Kadosh, holy place, and clearly showing, that Jerusalem is a place of holiness, sanctity, not of all what they are doing there, unfortunately. It's the question the Shabbos thing, opposite things of the Torah. Yerushalayim also, so much to see in the letters themselves, Israel. So in the name of Yerushalayim, you can see all the idea of Jerusalem should be. In Israel, it takes the name you see also, so Yehudi. And this is really so important to know how much important is a name. So let us really maybe finish here the second part after the first part. Try to repeat, to see it again, and then we'll carry on, because there's so much more to discuss about this subject. Now, if you want to know more about it, you should get my book, What's in a Name. This is the GlazersonBooks.com or Glazerson.com, you can get it. So, as we said, important subject, names, and one, as I said, one should learn more about things, not to get Judaism in such a superficial way, unfortunately today, not seeing the most important, the deep idea about what is really Jew. And this you can see only through Kabbalistic teachings, because this is the basis of creation. So, as I said, we'll finish here, and later, in Yirtzeh Hashem, we'll have the third part of it.